The movie opens on a rainy night in London, where we meet Ikram, a Turkish autistic boy, at his uncle Azim's hair salon. Ikram locks the door, closes the shades, and changes the sign from open to closed. Inside, he encounters a Russian man named Soika, which greatly upsets him. Azim hands Ikram a razor blade, urging him to follow through on their plan. Soika, another person in the salon, realizes something is wrong and tries to leave. However, she's held down and subjected to a painful ordeal, which ultimately leads to her death. Elsewhere, a mysterious Russian woman named Tatiana, with an otherworldly appearance, enters a pharmacy seeking help. The clerk assumes she's a drug addict and refuses assistance. Suddenly, a significant amount of blood begins to flow from Tatiana's legs, and she collapses. She's rushed to the hospital, where doctors perform surgery to save her baby, but tragically, Tatiana doesn't survive. Anna, a Russian-born English midwife, reports Tatiana's passing and cares for the newborn. After returning home from her night shift, she gives her uncle Stepan a diary she found in Tatiana's purse, urging him to translate it as it's in Russian. Stepan, who initially refuses, scolds her for taking something from a deceased person, despite Anna's primary concern being finding someone to care for the baby. While skimming through the diary, Anna discovers a business card for a Trans-Siberian restaurant, unaware that it's actually owned by Simeon, the head of a Russian mafia. The story also introduces Simeon's son, Kirill, and Nikolai, the family's loyal driver and bodyguard. At the same time, Anna parks her motorcycle in front of the restaurant and asks Nikolai to bring her and her uncle to the establishment. As Nikolai departs, a stranger knocks on the restaurant's door and is warmly welcomed by Simeon. Inside, preparations are underway for a significant party at the eatery. When Simeon notices his beautiful granddaughters making a mistake while playing the violin, he kindly corrects them. Anna then hands Simeon the business card, along with Tatiana's diary, and inquires about how to locate Tatiana's relatives to care for her baby. Simeon initially denies any knowledge of the girl but offers to translate the diary himself, suggesting that Anna return it to him later for assistance with her quest. The next evening, before leaving work, Anna ensures that Nikolai knows where she works. Nikolai pulls up to the eatery with Azim and his wife, parking his vehicle right next to Anna's bike. He admires her bike and asks if she's interested in selling it, but Anna declines, explaining that it belonged to her father and holds sentimental value. Nikolai then suggests going for a drink, but Anna ignores his advances and speeds away. Later that night, while Anna is having dinner with her family, Uncle Stepan gets drunk and asks Anna how long she plans to stay with them. His comments upset both women, prompting Anna to leave and Helen to scold him. Helen reassures her daughter that she can stay as long as she likes, especially since Anna recently broke up with her boyfriend, the reason she's living with them. Meanwhile, at the restaurant, as everyone is enjoying themselves and drinking, Carol receives a phone call. After ensuring that the coast is clear, she signals to someone named Zen that everything's fine. Nikolai drives Kirill and Asim to the hair salon. As Anna wants Nikolai to wait outside due to his dislike of him, Nikolai refuses, asserting that Nikolai works for him and is essential for the job. Once they enter the salon, they startle Ikram, who's ecstatic about getting tickets to a Chelsea soccer game. Azim sends Ikram out the door, assuring them that he won't talk about their presence. They enter a freezer where Soika's body is. Carol claims that Soika is like a brother to him, though his facial expression suggests otherwise. Carol hands over an envelope full of cash, emphasizing that money equals respect. Nikolai places the corpse on a table and uses a hairdryer to defrost the body since it's too stiff. He then warns Azim and Carol to leave because things are about to get gruesome. Nikolai puts out his cigarette on his tongue and proceeds to cut off all the fingers and remove the teeth from the corpse. Nikolai and Kirill then drive to a waterfront and toss Soika's wrapped body into the river, watching it sink. Meanwhile, as Stepan flips through Tatiana's diary, he becomes agitated. He warns Anna to be extremely careful about the diary, as he finds words like rape, prostitute, and needle in it. Elsewhere, the police have tracked down Soika's body. The lead inspector examines the corpse, noticing that Soika belonged to a ruthless Russian brotherhood of criminals called the Vori v Zakon, where every part of his body is tattooed with significant meanings. Reading the tattoos, the inspector deduces that Soika was a captain who knelt to no one. Additionally, he finds a note in Soika's jacket. Back at the restaurant, Anna visits Simeon and hands him a photocopy of the diary, explaining that the original diary will be delivered to Tatiana's baby girl when she's old enough. Simeon pretends to be drunk, claiming he'll translate the diary tomorrow when he's sober. He asks her where she lives so he can send her the translated diary, but she refuses to reveal her address. As she leaves, Nikolai shows up at the door with a very drunk Kirill, who can barely stand. Frustrated, Simeon shuts the door on them. When they finally manage to enter, Kirill collapses on the floor, resting his head on Nikolet's shoes. Disappointed, Simeon walks over to his unruly son and kicks him several times. Simeon is the head of the Vory v. Zakon family of the Russian Mafia, operating in the shadow of legitimate businesses, including the popular restaurant. Nikolai notices Anna outside attempting to start her bike, but it won't cooperate. He offers to drive her home in a limo since it's pouring outside, and Simeon will forgive him if he lets her walk home and take the car. Anna tries to gather information about Tatiana, but Nikolai claims ignorance, stating that he's just a driver. When Nikolai drops her off, Anna asks what he wants in return. Nikolai replies that Anna should consider it a Christmas gift. Nikolai and Carol head to a war-free house for a party. While Carol indulges in the abundance of underage prostitutes, Nikolai shows no interest. When Nikolai turns down Carol's request to be with one of the prostitutes, Carol becomes furious and orders him to do as he's told, asserting his authority. He also wants to confirm that Nikolai is not gay, as there have been rumors. As Michelle obeys his orders, Carol claps him on the back before leaving. Nikolai becomes entranced by a beautiful, melancholic song sung by a Ukrainian prostitute named Kirilenko. He discreetly tosses her a wad of cash and asks her to stay longer at the hospital. Meanwhile, Anna is looking after the baby, named Christine, and becomes emotional, revealing that she recently lost her own baby. Just then, Simeon unexpectedly shows up, informing her that he has translated the diary. He's disturbed to find Carol's name mentioned in it several times, along with details about illegal activities. Stepan, having translated the diary, urges Anna not to reveal it to the police and instead let Simeon take care of Kirill, assuring her that he is a good boy who was led astray after losing his mother at a young age. Stepan, a former KGB agent, is well informed about Vory v. Zakon's criminal activities and is deeply concerned for his nephew's life. Based on Stepan's translation, they learn that Kirill had thrown Tatiana down the stairs and brutally beaten her when he failed to manipulate her. To their shock, it is revealed that Simeon was the one who wrapped Tatiana's body, and he is, in fact, Christine's father. Anna briefs them about her meeting with Simeon, and they decide it's best to hand over the diary to keep Tatiana's baby safe. In the restaurant's backyard, Nikolai is seen working on Anna's motorcycle when Carol calls him over. They are receiving a shipment of old alcohol in a truck, and Carol tells Nikolai that he will talk to Simeon to involve Nikolai further in their import and export business. He hints at a promotion within the family. Simeon appears and slaps Carol upon discovering that Carol was behind Kirill's murder. When he finds out that Nikolai has taken care of everything, Simeon admires Nikolai's intelligence and tact and relies on him more than his own son. However, he also acknowledges the dangerous nature of Soika's brothers. Meanwhile, while Anna, Helen, and Stepan are at a cafe drinking coffee, Nikolai joins them at their table. Stepan, a former KGB captain, boasts that he knows how to deal with someone like Simeon. When things calm down, Nikolai asks for the diary. However, when he finally gets it, he refuses to give them Tatiana's address and walks away. Anna catches up with him outside and persistently asks for the baby's family address. In response, Nikolai threatens her, implying that she will ruin her own life if she continues pursuing this case. Furious, Stepan rushes to confront Nikolai and spits in his face. Nikolai calmly signals that he will take care of Stepan, insinuating a threat. Nikolai returns to Simeon's restaurant to deliver Tatiana's diary. Simeon is relieved to have it back but is concerned because Stepan has already read the diary. He instructs Nikolai to eliminate Stepan, one way or another. It's revealed that Soika was eliminated because he was spreading rumors about Kirill being gay. Simeon then soaks the diary with vodka and burns it down. In the following scene, when Anna finishes work, she is approached by Nikolai, who has fixed his motorcycle and also hands her the address of Tatiana's family. He suggests that Anna should take care of Christine herself, implying that it's not a suitable environment for a little girl to grow up in. The next day, Ikram returns from London's derby between FC Chelsea and Arsenal. While walking down the street with a group of fans, he stops in a graveyard to relieve himself. Two men approach him, one of whom is Soika's brother, and they slit his throat in broad daylight. As Simeon enjoys a Russian classic song named Ochi Chernye played by an accordion player at the restaurant, he is informed about Azim's arrival to meet him. Azim tells him that Soika's brother has killed Ikram but has decided to let him go in exchange for Kirill. The brother fears Simeon more than the Chechens. Simeon isn't entirely satisfied with this arrangement but instructs Azim to convey to the brother that he will do as he's told. A little later, Nikolai is seen stalking Stepan to his home and follows him inside, implying that he has killed him. That night, Anna waits outside the restaurant, where Nicolette and Carol show up. Kirill orders her to leave and instructs Nikolai not to see her anymore. Anna informs him that Tatiana is only 14 years old, but Kirill ignores her and leaves. Nikolai warns Anna once again not to get involved in Tatiana's case. As Nicolette and Carol walk through the kitchen, Kirill mentions that the police raided the War 3 house and asked for Kirilenko by name. They meet up with Simeon, who dismisses Carol to speak with Nikolai in private. Carol, feeling hurt, storms off downstairs to get drunk. Nikolai tells Simeon that he killed Stepan, which pleases Simeon. Later, Nicolette goes downstairs and shares a drink with Kirill. He tells Kirill that Simeon offered him the opportunity to get his star tattoos, and Kirill embraces him while lying that it was his idea for Nicolette to get the stars. Later on, several members of the Vori Vizakon arrive at the restaurant and are greeted by Simeon. Nikolai is seated in front of them, wearing nothing but his underwear. The members inspect the tattoos he received while in prison and review Nikolai's criminal and family history. Nikolai renounces his parents and is then given the star tattoos on his shoulders and knees. The next day, Azim meets with Nikolai at a bathhouse to discuss some business. He prefers this meeting place because everyone can see the tattoos they have. Azim and Nikolai undress and wear towels. Azim excuses himself to use the restroom but instead starts to address the men again. Two thugs come in, and Azim introduces Nikolai as Cairo, keeping Carol's appearance a secret. They spare him, and Azim and the thugs walk into the sauna, where a fight ensues. Nikolai finally gets the upper hand and stabs one of the thugs through the eye. Later, at the hospital, Anna notices the extremely injured Nikolai. She goes to him and asks if he knows where Stepan is. If he doesn't turn up soon, she'll get the authorities involved. Nicolette reveals that he was sent by Simeon to finish off Stepan, but he didn't. All things considered, he sent him to Edinburgh and set him up in an inn. The police inspector who found Soika's body reaches the clinic and talks with Nikolai in private. It turns out that Nikolai is actually an undercover MI5 agent hired to penetrate the Vori Vizakon. The note he put in Soika's clothes was an advancement report, and he was the one who called in the raid on the War 3 house. However, Scotland Yard and the KGB, SSB, are displeased with Nikolai's star tattoo, thinking he has gone too far. Nicolette then reminds them that all they have to do is arrest Simeon, who is in charge of Ashwood, and find 14-year-old Tatiana. Additionally, they can demonstrate that Simeon is the child's father through blood tests. Meanwhile, Kirill is blowing up balloons for another party and joking with his nephew when he sees several policemen arriving outside the restaurant through a security camera. Tyrell sees his father after the cops leave, and it's revealed they came by to take a blood sample from Simeon, which left both of them puzzled and panicked. As Anna's workday finishes, she notices Kirill in an elevator carrying a gym bag. She rushes to the baby ward and finds flowers instead of the baby. Anna bumps into Nicolette again and harshly demands that he knows where Carol took the baby. He sincerely has no idea, so they both rush out looking for Cairo. Cairo returns to the waterfront where Soika's body was tossed. He holds the baby and sits by the water, asking the baby girl to forgive him while he is sobbing. He's about to throw Christine in the river when Nicole and Anna show up just in time. Nikolai tells Carol that Simeon has gone too far, and they have never killed babies. He then urges Kirill to choose between him and Simeon. Carol embraces Nicolette and says that he didn't know that Simeon set him up at the bathhouse. Nicolette says that he understands and gives Christine to Anna. Nicolette then tells Cairo that his time to control the family is now, and they can be partners with Simeon out of the way. Cairo becomes cheerful again and tells Nicolette they should go out to celebrate since it's New Year's Eve. Cairo walks off and waits for Nikolai and demands to know who he is and why he helped them, but Nikolai simply responds that he couldn't be king if the king is still in his place. They briefly kiss one another, and then Nicolette goes away with Cairo. Sometime later, we see Helen and Stepan setting a lunch table while Anna has adopted Christine and plays with the beautiful baby girl. Simeon is assumed to be in prison for Tatiana's murder. The final shot shows Nikolai sitting alone in the restaurant in a dilemma about whether he wants to be the head of the Mafia.